And I am going to, and I'm going to go to some screen share. Okay, so I was joking with Lori about this because I'm not exactly what is that? Expert at this whole thing. So if anyone sees something that we're it's, I'm doing wrong, you can't see, please unmute yourself and let me know. So first of all, thank you for joining us. We're just going to be discussing membership today. It's an opportunity to share information about membership, get a chance to have you ask questions if you have any questions about membership, and discuss any experiences that you've had or questions, well, obviously questions, but anything that you have that's been successful or even something that didn't work that you tried. Just an idea to, as we enter this new year, another year where, things might be changing or a little different than a couple years prior, just trying to bounce ideas off and see what we can learn about membership from each other. So this is a brief agenda. We're just going to talk about the resources that we have and then talk about plans you may have, and then things that maybe, I think this is why I'm really excited that Lori's here, things that maybe are a little bit intangible about getting members. Because we all, well, those of us who know Lori know Lori's really good at this. So speaking of, who are we? So Lori, do you want to introduce yourself?
I think most people on the call know me. My credentials are there. Just a professional caster for membership. So.
And my name is Karen Meyer. For those who don't know me, I am going to be the advocacy chair for the Norfolk Council of PTA. And well, I'm already at that, and I'll also be for the high school this year. I also am on the Michigan PTA board, and I serve as the federal legislative chair on the Michigan PTA board for the state. So one thing that I find is really underutilized, and I say this from my own personal experience, is that the National PTA, they have really great resources. I highly recommend them. They have more than you could ever want to know, think about membership. The membership campaign and the membership toolkit. The toolkit is just basically a PDF that you can print out, and has, if you're kind of the person that likes to have a hard copy of things, the membership campaign has so many resources, just excellent resources. I don't know why it's not popping up. There it goes. So if you go here, it's got videos, it's got like things that you can print off. It's just got, right now I joined this 125 days of membership because this is the 125th anniversary of the PTA. So they're kind of pushing that 125 number. They've got challenges and idea sharing. Zooming into membership is something that we did at the state level last year. And that just basically shows what other places are doing to get members and what successes they've had. So, oh, let me let a couple people in here. All right. So really want to stress the usage of the National PTA resources. I think they have so much on their whole website, honestly. Any kind of thing, any subject, any area of your PTA that will come up, I guarantee there's something about it on their website. But particularly membership, I think is underutilized, and they have a lot of great information on there. As I said, I'm doing this 125 days of membership, and they have this great thing that you can print that has 125 ways to increase members. And now that I've showed this to you, I can get a point in my challenge. So that was a win. But as you can see, I mean, they've really broken it down. Really, really great resources. So I highly suggest utilizing the pta.org. And then, like I said, this toolkit is just, you know, if you like a hard copy, you like check sheets, this is for you. It really has a lot of, it's even got the elevator speech in here about why people should join. And, you know, I think sometimes it's a good reminder for ourselves, if you're someone who's involved in the PTA, why am I doing this? And you can reread it, and browse it and say, oh, this is why, you know, sometimes it's a good reminder for ourselves. So really want to suggest the pta.org website. As far as the state, Tanya's not on this call here, so I can really talk about her. We are so lucky to have Tanya Pitkin as a resource. The phone number on here for Michigan PTA, guess who answers that phone 9 times out of 10? It's Tanya. So she knows all. So if you have a concern or question, don't hesitate to reach out to her. But we have a brand new website. It's very nice looking. It doesn't have all the resources for the membership because they've already been created from national. But if you're looking for something specific or want to know more about what people are doing in real time, I would highly suggest the Facebook page. It's got more of a dialogue. And you can always call the number if you want to. And also, I would direct people to our website. It's a nice resource, and it lets people know what's going on in our state in terms of the PTA. We just got a new state president, Tracy Troy, and we have a new board. So I'm really excited about that. I think we'll see a lot of things happening, and so good things are happening. This is a really good big area of progress. And like I said, we're so lucky that Tanya is in Northville. You can feel free to call this number, but maybe you just want to hear her voice. That's what's going to happen. So Member Hub. I don't know how long it's been since you've been on Member Hub, but they've changed to a new dashboard. It will offer you to go on the old dashboard. Don't, because I'm not quite sure how they're going to toggle back and forth. And I think information can be lost. If Tanya was on here, she could speak a little bit more to that, but I've been forcing myself to learn the new dashboard, and I suggest you do too. It's changing in real time. When I sent that first message about this meeting today, I couldn't really see who I was sending it to. It didn't really break it down. It just said officers in Northville schools, and now you can. So they are getting feedback and they are fixing it to suggestions. So do check it out. Make sure your officers are entered. And then does anyone have any questions about utilizing membership for Member Hub? I do believe that if you do the enrollment packet already, it has scrolled you back to Member Hub so you can re-enroll on the school store. Am I incorrect on that? Has anyone done the enrollment packet yet?
Oh yeah, the enrollment packet does take you to whatever link the PTA provided. Like at Hillside, we sent it to our website, which then takes you to Member Hub.
Okay.
So people they made the call on that a couple of years ago.
Yes.
It could be updated if you went through Judy Huggins, but they mostly are right and operational.
My suggestion would be, if your school has some sort of social media right now, I would do a post on social media saying, hey, when you do the enrollment packet, join the PTA as part of that, because that's an easy, fast way to get people as they're going through the paperwork. I am re-enrolling my kids, so I've had some access issues, so I haven't been able to do it, but in the past, I know that it's been really seamless, and it's wonderful that our district supports that and does that. So this is a great time to push it. And like I said, any social media or any other way that you might be communicating, or maybe if your principal sent out a newsletter or something, ask if you can push the PTA membership right now, because this is a great time to get people. So planning. One thing that I would really suggest is just picking a target number. Look at your past memberships and just pick a number. And it's okay if you don't make the number. Maybe you want to go look at number from not last year, but the year before and say, hey, let's see if we can get that. And talk about your target number. Talk about what your goals are about getting to that target. And then look at your target. Like, if you're in elementary school, how many kindergarten parents, how many parents are you getting that you didn't have last year? How are you reaching out to those separate group of parents? Reaching out to staff. One thing I was talking to Tanya about was that you can have your staff, maybe one way to capture staff is your staff dues are just the $550, but it has to be part of your bylaw. So if your bylaws has to clearly state how you're getting your memberships and what they cost. So if it doesn't say specifically that the staff is separate or has a separate cost, or it says memberships are this, you might need to figure that out. And she said that's something that we can talk about at our first council meeting in September. So that might be something that you can work on in the future. But regardless, making sure that you reach out to staff now is a good time to capture them. And when I was at Hillside, I wrote a letter specifically for them, and I went and I put it in their mailboxes. And I know that might depend on what kind of access you have at the school and who your staff is, but I would just suggest targeting them specifically. School demographics. One thing that National PTA is really pushing is that you're looking at the demographics of your school specifically and making sure that your membership reflects that. I'm not quite sure how that works in terms of us getting access to the information. And I'm also not sure how comfortable I am with that, just basically because I know that in the past we've had difficulty just even getting information from the school, and sometimes people don't even want to share their email with us. So that's something I want to look into in the future. But you do know the population of your school, you know the communities that are in your school. So what I would say is, without making it so much as looking at specific percentages or numbers, I would think about how you're going to target everyone in your school, making sure that everyone is included and feels included. So I just want to specifically talk about Emmerman because I was there. Emmerman has the ELPS program that's making sure that you're reaching out to ELPS parents, or if you have a special education community, reaching out to them. Any kind of group, we want to make sure that no one feels excluded. We want to make sure everyone feels included. So this one is important, not just for membership, but just also that your whole school community knows that they're invited and wanted as part of your PTA. And that might be also another way of simply doing things like having your meetings Facebook Live or recorded so people can see them later. You're reaching out to parents who maybe cannot be at meetings. So just thinking about how we're including everyone. And then lastly, I just want to talk about circling back to your target. Always talk about that number. I think I brought it up all the time at our meetings, even when we were slowly inching towards it. Maybe only gaining like 5 or 10 members between meetings, but still always talking about it. I even had one of those color-in things.
Thermometer?
Yeah, thermometer as you walk into the school. I don't think it hurts to say, and like I said, we didn't make that target, I'll be honest, but I think it's good to have just so that you can talk about it to people, maybe if it encourages one person to join, and just to keep yourself motivated also.
Well, and the next slide will help them with the whole target discussion, right?
Yes. So, well, this is shows the basic numbers of the schools, and I don't want to get into like a comparing schools thing. I know every school has their own community and their own, what's going on in their school, and I can't really speak to that, but I do want to just point out, and I know most of the people on this call, this is not new to them, it's a downward trend. And so hopefully maybe we can kick it back up to this, this 1920 line. Maybe that could be a target goal for you this year. So because it's overall that we're kind of trending down, and hopefully we can re-energize and remotivate going into this year. I have the, see how I can do this. I have the sheet that Tanya, the raw numbers that Tanya shared with me. Oh, where did it go? Oh, that's not helpful, is it? You can't see that. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, never mind. She gave me the numbers. And if you're interested in knowing your numbers or don't know them, reach out to me or to her. And then maybe you can pick a target number from that.
But this gives you a good guess for your target number.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I know Northville and Hillside are, Northville was like number 5 this year in the state, and Hillside was number 6. And then Winchester and Ammerman are also pretty high up in terms of numbers within the state. Cook met a challenge for maintaining and increasing numbers. So again, I know every school community is different, but if you have a target of what you want to get to, so, if Hillside said this is about 400, so they wanted to make 400 this year, that could be a target number to have in mind as the year gets underway. So other plans you can make, and I don't know, maybe if you want to unmute yourself and share with us what your principal is saying to you, but if you can be present at school events, so transition day, open houses, having a table there, and having easy way for parents to join right then and there. And maybe that's going to change. I know the school board is making some decisions within the next week, so things may change, but pivoting with that and making sure that you can be as present as possible. When Lori and I were both at Hillside, we went back to paper. The year before we had just done online, and then we had a paper form, which I couldn't find, Lori, but did you want to speak to that in terms of having that paper option?
Well, at Hillside, we will approach every single person that walks by parent-wise to join membership, right? And some people are going to be on board with that, some people aren't, but everyone is asked. And if they seem a little hesitant, I say, just give me $20, we'll fill out this paper for you and take care of all the paperwork. So then they just hand us $20 and they join. Another option was we had the laptops out so people could do credit card orders through the Member Hub store. The only problem was for like 20 minutes, we were signed into Hillside in Farmington. So we had to get some of that money back. So you got to make sure you're on the right store page. So we had people sign up with credit cards that way. If they want to make a donation to like invest in your child, they had to click to the right money amount to set their own price for fundraising. That was great because then we had paper, credit card, and cash option. So it was hard for people to say, no, I don't have my checkbook. No, I don't have my credit card. They had one of those things. We also had a list of all the new members. So that way, if somebody said, oh, I'm sure my wife joined, we could say, no, let's look. Okay. So then we would say, nope, she did not join. And so that way we could proceed to chase them up the ramp until they did. So that helps us at Hillside.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Having that printout, that was really helpful, Lori, to have that right then and there. Because by then, you know, they have to have done that online paperwork in order to be part of transition day. And I realize we're just talking about secondary right now, but they have to have that. And then I believe for the elementary schools, in order to start the first day of school, you have to have that packet done. So if your open house is during that first week or the second week, they also have to have done that. And so you can just print out your members, and then you can know in real time who's joined and who hasn't. And that's a really nice thing to refer to. That was really helpful.
And if they don't let us inside because of the parents not in the building or whatever, we'll set up outside. Like, you know, a tent, some sort of like awning, it doesn't matter. Like we just bring the computers outside and try to do it there too, because it's too important, especially at secondary levels, to miss this day, because so much of the energy is focused there that people lose interest as the time goes by past that. So I feel like elementary school, you have more chances, but at middle school and high school, you got to get them right away.
Agreed. Then the next step is having an elevator speech. You might want to refer back to that membership PTA packet about why, people should join. And then, one thing that when I was talking to Tanya about it, that she talked about a lot was that, parents really want to have information and have a voice. And luckily for us in Northville, the administration does turn to us and, ask what we're hearing and what's going on, and they communicate with us. So honestly, that's half of why I'm here, is just to get information and to get a better understanding about what's going on in the district. So to me, that's a big reason the PTA here. Communicating with principals and other key staff, like having, again, if you have that access so that you can push the PTA, especially at the beginning of the year, anything that's going out, which goes with the next STAR, if you can get any information out in a newsletter or any other way the principal's communicating with the school. And then again, I just want to say, be mindful of including your entire school community. Lori's right. When those people came down the ramp, it didn't matter who you were. You're going to get asked. So making sure that we're asking everyone. And then the biggest one, and this one, maybe is a longer term one, is promoting your PTA. So anything that we do, making sure that people know that the PTA did it, I think is a big thing. Putting our names on things. I think a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times we might be a group of people who do things that we're like thinking about how we don't really care if people know it was us that did it. Fine if you don't want them to know that it was you specifically, but making sure that it was done on behalf of the PTA and making sure that gets out there year round. So that's kind of something to always be doing.
And we did that with teacher grants, right? So that was helpful.
Yes.
Because when we gave a teacher grant at Hillside, we said, take a picture of it in action if you can, and then send it to us. And we'll put it on Facebook so people can see what their money is getting them. So I think it's just a feel good kind of thing. I know the NEF does it when they award their grants. It makes people feel good to see where their donations go. That
is very true. Yes. Okay, so membership intangibles. I was hoping, Lori, if you could share a little bit with what you do, because you are so great at this part.
Oh, I don't know about that. I've been around a while, but I think one of the key things is establishing a good relationship with the office staff, right? Because they're the ones that are going to send your listservs right when you need them sent. You have to find out if they want a PDF, Word, whatever they want, because sometimes the timing of those listservs are super important. So if it means bringing Starbucks hot chocolates into them, you do that. Like I just made sure that they loved me. So that way I could, get whatever I needed done right when I wanted it to. So a good relationship is the key there. Also, when I go to transition day or I'm at a table, like I try to make it so that I'll bring candy, not free candy or something like that. So it's inviting for people to come see me rather than running away. That way it draws them in a little bit just with like the friendly vibe. So at transition day at Hillside, I'll bring the candy. I will try to bring a mix of parents from other schools, right? So if there's feeder schools into Hillside, I'll try to have a Moraine parent with me, an Ammerman parent, just make sure that I have a mix. The more people who know somebody walking up, the more helpful it is, right? Because if you know somebody, you know the name of their kid, they're going to be less likely to walk by you and not join, right? Because it feels personal. So you want to have people know somebody walking up. Also, I have that, I mentioned the $20 option. That's really helpful, I think, for parents who are rushing, who are trying to get transition day done. They'll hand you $20. You say, okay, what's your email? You write the email down on a half sheet of paper, check $20 that they joined, or they made a fundraising pledge, whatever, it goes into the baggie. Process it later. I don't do paper memberships past this day, only on transition days. Also, with the staff, we link staff memberships to the grants. If you want a teacher grant, you need to be a member of the PTA. That way it drives their membership up a little bit, and they have some skin in the game that, they're getting money for their project from us. They can pay the $550 because we do just charge them cost at the schools I've been at. So that way they are part of the team. Also, take advantage of, like, if you're getting a new principal, do a welcome breakfast, and then like recruit volunteers and have a membership table at these events. People love and they're curious about these new principles, new things like welcome breakfast, things where you get parents in the building you really have to take advantage of, get the spiritware out there, do your membership, all that when you have events. Halloween is always underutilized, especially elementary schools. Halloween, you get so many parents up there for the parade. It's a perfect time to go around and sign people up. Now, Jody Roden told me yesterday from the high school, she's doing a QR code thing. And there's a link where
Yes.
you can do a QR code. She's putting them on badges, like a sticker badge, and she's going to put them on doors at the school. So if you want to join the PTA, you hold your phone over it like a menu that everybody knows how to do now, and you can just go straight to the store and join the membership. You can also put those stickers on folders. If you have a new parent folder or something, put that QR code right on the top. Those QR codes are an easy, quick way for people to join. They don't have to go through all the store hassles. They're just right there to where you want to send them. So QR codes are really great. And if you're wearing them, they're on folders, they're really accessible.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get behind this toolbar, the Zoom toolbar, because there's a video. There's a video on the membership toolkit
how to make that QR code.
that will show how to, and I don't know how to move this stupid bar.
Well, you keep working on that. So
Well,
I would not recommend messaging your parents through MemberHub. Directories are not great at most of the schools. That tends to be people just keep getting added as they join, but the removal tool is not wonderful. So it's hard to have a really great, sharp list of people. So your former families tend to get really mad if they get blasted about membership at a school they don't go to any longer. So my main thing is I will blast through Facebook, ways to join. I will do it on listserv. And those are the two. I don't use the messaging through the MemberHub anymore because it just causes too many bad feelings, I think. Listserv is really great because I feel like everybody sees that and most people will open it. I try to get the office to include it as a real document, not an attachment, because sometimes you can't get people to click the attachment. You just put it right in front of their face and they're more apt to do something about it rather than opening some attachment they don't know what it is. Let's see. Oh, and then when you do send forms, emails, put all the members of your board, if they're okay with that, on it. Like, because what I said is all about, if you know somebody on the board, you're more apt to give, I believe, than just random membership email, right? If they see it's coming from Karen Meyer, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know Karen, her kids went to Ammerman with mine. They are more friendly and more apt to give when they know people across the way. I feel like that's what I've been setting up in motion from elementary school on, making my irritating force a presence so that people would rather pay and get me off their back than otherwise. So the more they see our names out there, the better it is for promoting the giving over time. So that is my recommendation. I think that at elementary school, it's just important to do the open house. If they have to do a walkthrough or a popsicle day, put the popsicles by the membership, right? If they're all coming for popsicles, put it right by membership. So that way people are standing around chatting. It's an easy way to talk to people and get them to join. Having computers out there helps because it's too hard to take credit card payments any other way. Now the Stripe might change that because the Stripe is that swiper that they're selling now through MemberHub. The fees, you won't pay PayPal fees like you used to on the old swipers that everyone used. So that is a plus because now the parents are paying that small fee rather than the schools absorbing a big PayPal fee. So I know Hillside and Thornton Creek are going to the swiper. I don't think there's need for it at the high school, but it is good for spiritware at middle school just because you're selling thousands of dollars that day. And so the fees are gone. So just something to think about how you're going to get the money in different ways from the people. But like other people said too, it's just, you got to make sure that they know what they're getting for their money. Sometimes I get caught up in the chase, but it's important like to talk to people about what we spend the money on, because when they hear that we're trying to say yes to what teachers want in their classrooms, they're on board, especially in a generous community like Northville. If they hear that what we're buying and we spend thousands of dollars on teacher grants, I mean, they feel good about that. So I feel like we have a product that sells itself. So we just have to ask everyone as much as we can. And all the energy is in the beginning of the year. By the time Christmas rolls around, you're down to 1 and 2 members a month if you're lucky. So this is the big time to hit. That's why I had the paperwork linked in with the concussion forms and all that for PTA. I made that a priority a few years ago because I felt like if you can catch people when they're doing all their stuff on the computer, a lot of people will just join. So then I don't have to bother them at transition day as much. So did you have anything to add to that, Karen?
Well, just really quickly, I mean, thank you, Lori. That's really great information. Lori's, she's so wonderful at this. You really are. So you're a great asset. I just basically what you were saying about the QR code, just like the website, and most of these videos are also on their website, but you can also just YouTube PTA, and this is on YouTube. They have an underutilized YouTube channel that has a lot of information as well. And it's got all the information about how to create a code. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And I'm also gonna stop recording.
And just always think about where you set up at these events. You know, like you want to be where people congregate.